For more on Cole's influence, I'm joined by Alex Dean. He's a Toronto jazz musician who actually got the chance to perform with Cole live. Yeah. So, you know, knowing that, when you heard the news today, what was your reaction?
Well, I didn't know anything about it until someone from here phoned me and said, you know, this is what's going on. And I was kind of, I mean, we get older and things happen. I mean, she had a huge impact, I think, on the pop world, but amongst jazz musicians too, it was very important because she said, like, you can do it, you know, great arrangements, great songs with a wonderful band, it can be done, and there she was doing it, you know, and she was for the few times I worked with her, I think she only worked here a couple of times. For the few opportunities that I had, she really seemed to respect what the musicians were doing, what it took to be on stage. She always said that she felt most comfortable like standing in front of a kick-ass big band. That's what she liked, that's where she felt the best, you know? And you sort of felt that when you worked with her a little bit. I didn't talk to her too much, but you know, she would make a joke or she would say something. She would turn around and look at the band and say something, and that we all knew what she was talking about, and we all knew she understood what it meant to be there. And you know, something about her, I mean, I contracted a big band gig with her at one point. She loved the band, all Toronto musicians. It really doesn't get any better than the guys we have here. She loved the band. She'd been up a couple of times. And she would make a crack or something. She would say something. And she was very personable. And I mean, you know, you could see yourself backstage with her just hanging out and whatever. But she also had some demons, as we know, and she had some people there as well. So, but my experience with her was that she was just wonderful to work with and great. You know?
So, you know, you talk about her wanting to work with a kick-ass band. It must have been quite the honor to be selected to be in that.
I have to tell you, when I got called to do contracting, I didn't do a lot of contracting, which means I'm the guy that gets hired by the band. And usually I think there's a great musician from Toronto named Guido Basso who used to do that. And Guido, I think, was busy, so he let me do it. And I was nervous as whatever. I mean, it was a little while ago. I was pretty scared, and you were trying to make sure the guys are right. And I think she had French horns in the band, which other than Rob McConnell, who's also from Toronto, I don't think anybody really had French horns in big bands at that point, right? So I had to make sure that that was right. And then all the guys in the band were playing flute, clarinet, sax. And you know, she was so wonderful and so great that, you know, you want to bring your A game. You don't want to mess around, right? It's like she gets the best you have. And I think her personality and hearing her sound, you want to bring that to her without any words being spoken, without, hey guys, we got to do this or we got to do that. You're just going, I'm with Natalie Cole and let's make this happen. So I think everybody in the band felt that way. And I think she brought a lead trumpet player with her from Los Angeles, who was a good guy. And I think the rhythm section was from here, and a big band, you know, 5 saxes, usual setup.
How does her impact compare to her father's impact, you know, a legend?
Well, you know, everyone you ask will give you a different answer. Nat King Cole was huge, huge. You know, without Nat King Cole, we don't have Oscar Peterson. Mm-hmm. We don't have Diana Krall. They have the same setup that Nat King, the trio that he had, that's what they do. And still today, people do that. And still today, you hear a Nat King Cole song and you go, oh my God, that sounds like he recorded it yesterday, you know? It's fantastic. Then you look at the recordings that she made, all the Duke Ellington recordings that she did, the way she sang them, I mean, I think her impact is going to be big, but I don't think it's been felt yet, because I think it's going to be a little while, and then people will start to discover those great recordings again, and they'll listen back to them and go, wait a minute, do you hear the way she does? Like, this changes everything for me. And I think that'll affect it.
How big a deal was that recording Unforgettable? Because I remember that, and it was what introduced me to some of those Nat King Cole songs.
You know, I think it was huge. I mean, I was always a big fan of Nat King Cole. I loved listening to him. Even on that record, like there's a recording of The Very Thought of You, which is on that record, and you can hear her phrasing and her voicing, and I guess I'm sort of nerding out a bit because I'm a musician, but you can hear her phrasing sounds like her father's at times. probably because he sang around the house, and you can hear all that. But that record, I think, for her must have been gigantic, you know. And then Chris Lieb on the tenor saxophone solo, we all had to learn that solo and then find out, you know, go from there. And I mean, it opened up a lot of things for people that like those tunes, but it just makes you discover all the other stuff, you know. And yeah, I think it was really a huge influence for a lot of us, you know. And I think there's still a lot of singers out there, young singers, that are going to check that out and go, this makes a difference. And then from there you go to, you know, the way you learn, right? Yeah. You hear this, and that takes you to this, and that takes you to this, and before you know it, it's Nat King Cole, and it's Natalie, and it's
so wonderful.
Amazing, yeah.
Thank you so much for coming in and joining us today.
Well, it's not a great reason to be here, but wonderful to be able to talk about it.
A good chance to talk about our music. Thank you so much. That's jazz musician Alex Dean joining us from Toronto. You're watching CBC News Network. Stay with us.